The Tour de Fleece is an event where spinners across the globe spin yarn in concurrence with the Tour de France. For the first time since 1989, there is a women's Tour de France called the Fleece de Femme avec Swift. To celebrate the amazing power of women this tour, I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to share with you all the creative activities I enjoy in life as a woman, from cooking to cleaning to crafting and much more. Maybe learn a few skills along the way. I hope you will join me on my journey. Well, stage 5 just got over and I had to jump on and talk about it before I forgot all of the things. So Lorena Weebus, or Weebs, I'm not sure how to pronounce, won the stage, and what a stage it was. It was really exciting to watch the ladies change positions and fight for the front, and just absolutely incredible. There was also some very heart-wrenching moments at about 46 kilometers to go. There was a huge pileup in the peloton. At least a dozen, if not more, riders were involved, and one rider was forced to abandon the race as a result of her injuries. And there was another race, two other racers who were pretty significantly injured. One, I can't remember names. I'm still learning all the people, all the people in their roles in this race, but just an incredible show of will and strength. She had a horrible gash on her right elbow, and I mean, she, literally blood down her arm and into her glove, and she just put a towel over it and a hair elastic and got back on her bike and raced. Just incredible show of strength by these ladies. The medical card did come to her eventually. Obviously they, it's kind of like triage out there. You have to treat who needs the help the most, and at the moment it was the person who was going to need to abandon. So she did get attention and she continued the race, and just, absolutely amazing. So Marianne Voss's gap from, she still holds the yellow jersey, but her gap has been reduced to 20 seconds for after this stage. So still a significant gap, but not beyond the realm of possibilities that somebody could catch her in the coming stages. So it is almost completed. I believe it Tour de Femme avec Swift ends on the 31st of the month. Incidentally, the 31st is also the last day of summer sock camp with the Crazy Sock Lady. I once again have bitten off way more than I can chew with Tour de Fleece and mick-alongs and cast-alongs and knit-alongs and all the things. So I am working on a sock, the final sock for summer sock camp. I wanted to use summer sock camp as a catalyst to figure out my perfect sock recipe for DK weight socks. And so I'm using Kay Litton, who is the Crazy Sock Lady. I'm using her DK weight vanilla sock pattern, and trying to determine what my row count, my needle size, all the things with DK weight yarn is. I know what it is for fingering, but I haven't figured out for DK yet. So the first pair of socks that I made, I ended up gifting to my daughter Kayla because they were a little bit too big for me. And the second pair of socks I ended up gifting to my younger daughter because they were too small for me. But these, I believe, are going to be just right. The length of the foot is a little shorter than I'd like. I could probably add another 5 or 6 rows, but it does fit. The yarn here is raspberry cream. It's a hypnotic yarn. And then the heels, toes, and cuffs is a yarn to die for in the color Mud Pies. So, yeah, I'm really excited to have some DK socks. They're squishy and soft. I made a pair for my daughter Kayla for Christmas last year, and I really like the weight of the DK. Won't be wearing them anytime soon because it is like 85 degrees outside, and in Maine that's really hot. I know it's not hot for a lot of y'all, but in Maine it's really, really warm. So I work on these during work when I have conference calls or work breaks and lunches. They're very easy to walk with and knit on the 9-inch circulars. So I've kind of committed to doing these during work breaks and such, and then working on the entrelac clutch after work and extra time like that. So that's where I'm at, and I hope you're enjoying the videos so far. Today is kind of a low-key day, and I'm just going to do a little bit of yard work and work on the socks and the clutch and relax the rest of the day because it's really, really warm outside. So I hope you will enjoy the rest of the videos, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Take care. One of my favorite outdoors chores is to do the trim work or the weed whacking. I just find it so satisfying to get all the edges of the gardens and yards and things nice and trim and tidy, and it's just extremely satisfying for me. I haven't been out in a while because of the condition of my knee, but it was feeling quite good today, so I got some done on my break. This is an area that we really need to overhaul. It's where Brady used to take his nature breaks, and the grass has certainly suffered for it. But for today, we'll just give it a trim and get to the big work next spring. Look what I spy. There are blackberries. Not very many, but there are blackberries. I love it. Okay, I am in the laundry room with the entrelac clutch, and you can see how big it is. It is actually quite cute just the way it is, but I'm going to stick it in the wash and shrink it and felt it, and I'm not sure about putting anything inside. I don't want it to felt like on itself, but I don't think it will. So here we go, into the wash. I forgot that there was laundry in there. So here she goes, into the wash. And we're going to put it on a small load, I think. Extra hot? Oh, it won't go to extra hot. Why won't it go to extra hot? Well, all right, extra hot, spin speed high, normal. Oh, here we go. Hello. I am so sorry. I totally bailed on the last few days of the Tour de Femme avec Swift. I missed the last 2 races. I haven't really recorded much video. It has been sweltering hot here in Maine. 80s and 90s. I know that's not hot for a lot of people, but for Mainers, it is absolutely unbearably hot. So we had that, and then I had an issue with my camera, with my iPhone. I record the videos on my iPhone, load them to my iPad. Julie and I experimented with a different camera for our last, for the Maine Yarn Cruise video, and in trying to get that video transferred to my iPad to edit and get that video ready for you, I lost a ton of footage. I'm just absolutely devastated. All of the videos that I took during the Maine yarn cruise are unrecoverable. So I have some photos that I was able to salvage, but and our haul video is salvaged, but I was just heartbroken, and I couldn't record. I just was like, I'm out. I'm done. I can't. I need to take some space. So I took some space. But I did manage to get some of the fiber that I spun during the Tour de France made into projects. So I would like to share those with you, and hopefully I won't destroy this video. So I did the entrelock clutch, and I finished knitting it, and it was quite a bit bigger than I was like, wow, this is a really big, like, it's a bag, and it was really cute just the way it was, but I went ahead and scarily threw it into the washing machine. I actually ran it through two express cycles, or it's a small cycle or small load setting on my machine, but I put the water temperature up to hot and tossed it in the washer. And when it came out, it looked great, but it still had like a lot of stitch definition in it. So I tossed it in another time. It could probably go a third time, but I kind of liked the way it turned out, so I stopped and I let it dry, and here it is. Here it is, the beautiful entrelock clutch. It's so cute. It did hide all of the mistakes. Oops. I used it for hat knitting, and I have a needle in there. It hid all of the holes. They're all gone. It hid most of the, what I thought was like wrong side rows. You can see one here sticks out just a little bit. But it is very dense, very squishy, soft, cute fabric, and I love it. And even where I had to whip stitch up the sides is pretty well hidden by the felting. So you could put it either way. I mean, there's no real wrong side or right side to it. And it didn't felt together like I was afraid. I was afraid of maybe I should tuck something into it, but didn't need to. It just worked absolutely perfectly. And it's so cute. This is definitely a clutch that I will be using for a project bag, a makeup bag. Who knows? It's super cute. I love it. So the next thing is I knit the hats out of the Cheviot fiber that I dyed 3 ways. So I will share those with you. The first one is the one that I dyed from the fiber. So I took the Cheviot and I took half of the weight of, I weighed the whole amount, I think it was like 4 ounces. I weighed the Cheviot, and I used like 2 ounces for one skein and then an ounce each for the other, if that was the right weight, I don't know. But one of the 1 ounce skeins, I dyed the, not skein, 1 ounce of fiber, I dyed the fiber itself. And then I spun that in fractal style. So after it was dyed, I split the fiber in half, spun 1/2 of it, and then the other half I split into like 6 or 8 sections and spun that and then plied it together. So the yarn ended up being a DK weight. It was not the worsted weight that I was hoping for. So here is what's left of that that yarn, and it ended up being DK weight, so it wasn't as thick as I was hoping for. So I also wasn't sure if I'd have enough for a child's hat, so I didn't actually do the yardage on it because I was using it right away. I don't know why that made a difference, but it did. But I did a very small, like a newborn size, and it's gonna be great for Dylan's baby doll. So here is what that looks like knit up. So you do have a little bit of striping and color pooling there from where the different colors kind of lined up. You had the long repeats from the large section of the fiber, and then you had the smaller repeats were from the smaller sections, but because they were plied onto a long section of the same color, you got these kind of stripy bits in it. So super cute. And this is just a basic beanie pattern, no real pattern. It's just ribbing and then stockinette and then decreases the crown. So that was that yarn. And then I took the other 1 ounce of the fiber and I spun it into a worsted. It did turn out to be worsted weight yarn. I spun both of the other pieces of fiber, the 1 ounce and the 2 ounce, spun it worsted weight 2 ply, and then I dyed that in a dye pan together. So I kind of striped the dye and I dyed that together. The smaller of the two, the 1 ounce skein, I have just this wee little bit left, very, very tiny bit of yarn left. And the hat that came out of it is so cute. This is a child size for Dylan. And check it out. It color pooled in the coolest sort of way. It's got like these lightning bolts of color down. I just think it's the cutest thing ever. And again, it's just a regular beanie pattern, ribbed cuff and stockinette. Again, I thought I was going to run out, so I stopped about 1 inch short of where I would normally make the hat, but it fits her like perfect, just a perfect little beanie. It's so cute. And then the final skein of yarn was just like that one, but more. And I tied off sections of it with some cotton fiber, cotton yarn, and then I dunked that into a raven colored or black. It's really a dark purple, like a really deep, deep dark purple black color. Let that cook for a bit, and then when I took it out, I took the cotton bits off, and this was the yarn that I got. It's so pretty. And Kayla just fell in love with it. Kayla and Dylan are like best buds, and they both are like really into like rainbow bright neon colors. So I knit Kayla a hat out of that, and this is how it turned out. It's so neat. It really gave a really cool speckly effect to the hat. And this is the same, I did a little bit longer ribbing on the end of it, but it's the same kind of just stockinette and crown decreases. Again, I was afraid I would run out of yarn, so that's what happens when you don't do your yardage. So that's the hat, and it's kind of cute, right? It's way too warm for hats. But I think they're really going to love it. So those are going to be for Kayla and Dylan and Baby Doll. And this was probably the funnest I've had playing with color and fiber in a long time. It was a really fun experiment. So what I have left to play with as far as knitting is the stuff that I'm supposed to make the Odyssey shawl out of. I don't think there's going to be enough yardage here. It did come out to DK, and in the newsletter it said DK or lighter, you should be able to get enough yardage. So I am going to give it a try, and we'll see where I end up. If I have to, if I have to I'm basically just going to start with one and knit until I can't knit anymore, and then do the next one, and then do the last one, and when I run out, I run out. I'll just bind off. So that's going to be that. It might be a shorter Odyssey shawl. And then I have these two, which I haven't chosen a pattern for yet. So that's the neon from the Dr. Seuss fiber. I haven't chosen a pattern for this yet. Dylan kind of wanted a hat and mittens set where she has this hat, which honestly, like, isn't too far off of the colors in this yarn. I might do like a scarf or a cowl and mittens for her. We'll see. So that's yet to be determined. And the last thing that I dyed during the Tour de Femme was the mohair. So this was the one that I dyed during Tour de France. And then these two I dyed during Tour de Fleece, the pink and kind of the pinky gray. So I think they'll go really nicely together as maybe a sort of fade. I'm not sure. I might just continue to use, I've got like 10 skeins of this undyed mohair. I might just continue to use it as mops and then put it together to make, I don't know, a really funky ranunculus? Ranunculus? I don't know. So that is it. That's all for the Tour de France. Tour de Femme avec Swift. I had a lot more planned. I had some other felting that I wanted to do. I was going to do some reorganization of projects and yarn stash, and it was just too hot to even contemplate. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed the videos that I did post. We'll try to be a little more organized and bring you a little more content next year for both of the events. But until then, I really appreciate you guys interacting with me in the comments. It's been so much fun, you know, hearing about how you're using some of you have Paradise Fibers fiber, and hearing about how you've used it. And getting ideas, like the advice that I got for spinning the bamboo from the fold. I still haven't spun that other bamboo fiber, which I definitely want to do, and do the market bag. There's just not enough hours in the day, is there? I need to retire so I can get more of my time back. But anyhoozle, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. I will see you on the next video. Take care.